Hello, everyone, and welcome to Textiles and Tea with the Handweavers Guild of America. I'm Kathy Group. I get to be your host today. I'm excited to welcome our next sponsor today. They're pretty wonderful. It's the Carolina Fibre Fest. This is a festival that is October the 12th through the 14th, and I'll talk more about it later on today, but it's a great little festival in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, and I encourage you to check it out. We thank you guys so much for being a sponsor of Textiles and Tea today. We also want to remind everybody there's questions at the end of the session. The last 15 minutes, I'll take as many questions as I can. Make sure you put them in the Q&A and not in the chat. We love the chat, and we want all your want you to keep doing that. I love all your comments and everything, but I can't always see them. I got to keep an eye on the Q&A. So put your questions in the Q&A, and I'll get to as many as I can today. We're excited to have Frances Crowe with us today. Frances studied fine art at the National College of Art and Design in Dublin, where she discovered the weaving department and fell in love with tapestry. She moved to Roscommon in 1980 and opened Grange Studio. Isn't this a lovely picture of a studio? Frances worked as an art teacher for many years while maintaining an active artistic presence. As an educator, collaborator, and curator, Frances facilitated numerous school and community-based art projects. She was supported by Creative Ireland and the Roscommon Arts Office and the Bealtaine Festival, and in recent years with support from local and national agencies. She founded the International Tapestry and Fibre Arts Festival, bringing together Irish and international artists to exhibit and discuss their work. Her tapestries have been selected by many high-profile art exhibits in Ireland and England, China, and Canada. She has received commissions for public spaces, private collections in Ireland and abroad. She's received numerous awards. Most recently, she was shortlisted for the Golden Fleece Award and selected by the Michelangelo Foundation for inclusion in the Homo Faber Guide for Master Artisans. We are so excited to have you here, Frances.
Thank you. Looking forward to the chat.
It's so nice to have an Irish accent. Everyone wants a new accent. That's the nice thing about Zoom. We can talk to anybody anywhere.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks.
Well, let's start off with the really important question. What is your favorite tea?
Well, my favorite tea is the Irish Barry's tea, which I drink numerous mugs of throughout the day with milk. But
Ah,
as it's 9 o'clock here, I'm not having tea at the moment. I'm just going to have some water. So cheers.
Irish tea, of course.
Yeah.
Well, tell us how you got started in fiber.
Yeah. I was in the National College of Art and Design in the late 70s, and I was in the painting department studying fine art. I met a young student there, Teresa McKenna, who had returned from Edinburgh College of Art, where she was studying tapestry weaving, but she was making huge, enormous sculptural pieces using rope. And I just thought, oh my God, this is what I should be doing and should have been doing all along. So I wangled my way into the weaving department, even though that wasn't really allowed for painters back in those days, and met Evelyn Lindsay, and she taught me how to weave. So I just did a few
Oh,
very basic classes with her, as in a few sample pieces, and I understood it immediately. It just my hands and eyes and heart and everything knew what to do, and that's how I started in weaving and in fibres. So my final degree show was a mixture of paint and weave.
well, how did they react to that? You were like breaking the rule.
Well, yeah, well, what I started to do was on the large canvases that I was painting, I was sticking pieces of fabric onto the
Ah,
canvas
okay.
and painting on top of that. And then I began to weave bits of fabric to stick onto the canvas. And the final show had a large installation piece of ivy hanging over a wall, but I wove the ivy and painted the wall. So there were kind of three-dimensional
Good.
experimental works, really, I guess.
Well, I love that your tenacity, you stuck with that and lucky for us.
Well, I'm obsessed with weaving. I it's something I do every day. I would spend 4 to 6 hours in the studio most days, and I'm either researching or drawing or thinking or weaving. So it just seems to be part of me now. I can't not do it. Yeah. Mm.
Well, one of the things that struck me about your work that I just love is your use of color. It's so rich and bold. We've got this. This is Germination and Unexpected Places one. I believe this is one.
Yes.
And do you plan your colors ahead? Like, do you draw them out or know ahead of time, or do you realize what colors go together once you start weaving them?
Well, it depends. I do both. In this particular case, the nasturtiums were growing in the garden, and I just thought, oh, those oranges and yellows are so magnificent. I'd like to try and weave them. And I cut out shapes and stuck them onto a background of a bit of devastation due to war, and came up with the idea of growth in places that have been destroyed due to the ash left on the grounds, maybe, and seeds dropping. So in this case, I did have a colour study done beforehand, and I used them. As you can see, I wove it sideways. So that was very well worked out beforehand.
Yeah, we're going to talk about sideway weaving later.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is fascinating to me. But the one thing I did want to talk about right now is cartoons. You you use a cartoon, right? And how do you start your process?
Yeah, well, I start usually with an idea. I just have an idea about something I want to weave. And then the process is very slow, really, because I have to think and walk and talk and research and draw and gather a lot for a long time before I put something down on paper. Now, you can see in the background of that photograph that there are drawings on my wall, on my
Hmm.
studio wall, and behind the weaving is the cartoon. So in when I wove this piece it's called Displaced. I just used outlines. I had no real final color study, so I just selected the colors as I went along, and hoped that it would work. Because I
Hmm.
normally work on my upright loom, but in this case I'm working on a dryad loom where the warp winds around the beam, so I can't see the whole weaving as I'm weaving it. So I had to just trust my instincts for the color to make sure that it would work because I didn't have it worked out beforehand.
Wow. So are you working on several projects at once?
Yeah, I am. I always seem to have several things on the go because I'm involved in a few different groups here in Ireland, and we often are working towards different exhibitions. And then I might have a
Oh,
commission, and then I might have an exhibition piece that I want to make myself separately. And then I'm always, just experimenting with new ways of working as well as all of that.
I read something that you wrote, and I thought this was very interesting. You said a blank canvas was more intimidating than the blank warp or coming up with the warp. Would you talk more about that?
Yeah, I think it's the process of making that I enjoy the most. It's the physicality of putting on the warp on the loom and also then the making, the kind of the warp and the weft and the weaving. I find easier than doing a painting, even though a lot of my designs start with the painting. I never really feel that the painting is good enough to be a finished work of art, but
Huh.
it's good enough to be a starting point for a weaving. So that's really my process. It's a mixture of both. But I'd never show the painting, but I'd always display the weaving.
That's interesting that you view them so differently. Huh. Well,
Yeah.
this next work, the one just saw briefly, and we're going to see more of that later, but this one is called Torn Apart. Your work has a lot of political or social themes. And this one,
Yeah.
oh, this work is just amazing. So can you talk to us about this work, how it came about and what it means for you?
Yeah. Um, So I think this one was woven or thought about anyway in around 2020, where I read an article about children who were taken from their parents. And I thought I wanted to
Mm.
weave a piece of work about that, the story of a family being separated. So I began to draw what I thought might be a global looking family, that there's no nationality really in the people. So I have a mother holding a child and a daughter down below. And then on the other side, a child being grabbed and pulled away with a hand reaching out. So when I had the drawing and the design made, I tore it in half, first of all, to separate the two pieces. And then I had been thinking for a long time on I use a metal upright tapestry loom, a homemade one. And over the years, whenever I put a warp on, I had often wondered what would happen if I didn't bring the two warps together to create a shed, but wove on both sides of the warp, both sides of the loom. So that's what I did. So I started with the hands on the right hand side on the side. So I wove it edge to edge vertically. And when I got up to the top of that first half, I wove that red kind of broken line. And then I knotted along that warp edge. And then I went around to the other side of my loom and began on this side and wove up to the top here. So that warp piece that you
Wow.
see in the middle is the piece of warp that went around the top of the loom.
Ah, okay.
And I then, some people would cut that and tie it back and bring the two pieces together. But I thought, well, that really works because it shows the strength of family ties, but the fragility really of families who are torn apart.
Mandy, can we
Yeah,
show the next image? We've got a close up of the loose, there you go. Just because it's kind of hard to see with the same color, but
yeah.
how lovely that is of the two threads that go the across. Oh,
Yeah. So I've hung it in exhibitions in different ways. Sometimes I bring it closer together so that the warp threads are hanging lower.
uh-huh.
This one is more stretched out, this image. I've also hung it around a corner.
Oh,
But when you come into the exhibition, you just see one half, and then you have to walk around the corner to view the other side of the weaving. So the warp is what connects it around the corner, the threads there, the white threads.
Oh, that
Yes,
would be
so
so
this piece,
powerful.
it
Yeah.
has been displayed a few times, and yeah, it gets a big reaction, all right, whenever it's shown.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, I was interested that you said that you listen to the news a lot while you're working,
Mm.
and especially these days, the news is just so overwhelming at times. Um, so with everything going on, do you how does it impact on you when you're listening to the news? Obviously, it's not a negative or you wouldn't be doing it, but can you talk more about how that affects you?
Yeah, it can be negative at times because I tend to take on very big subjects. And then I begin to worry about everybody in the world and what I can do to help. Then I have to step back and realize that the only thing I can really do is include some of my feelings within my own work. I have an example recently, I guess. I was very involved in the Free Palestine movement here in Ireland and in Roscommon in terms of going on marches and going to vigils and that type of thing. So then I began to think about my next large piece that I wanted to make. And I have a lot of drawings here and designs, and I was ready to go. And then I just thought, no, hold on a minute now. This is going to take a year to weave. And do I really want to do another narrative piece like this about a subject that really is not my story to tell? So instead of doing the big piece, I began to look at the destruction of the olive trees in the West Bank of
Mhm.
Gaza. And I've woven several pieces now, smaller pieces about the trees and their resistance. It's called, this series of work is called Seeds of Resistance. I haven't shown them anywhere yet, but I have a little plan for that going forward. So instead of making a large tapestry about the situation in the Gaza Strip and Palestine, I have joined with a group of stitchers called Stitch Their Names Together. And I'm currently stitching 165 names of deceased martyrs in Palestine onto a panel. There are hundreds of people working on this project around the world, stitching the names of the people together, and they're being displayed all over the world currently. But my piece now, I've been working on it for 3 months and I'm only halfway through, so it's a very slow process.
Wow. That is a lot to take on. Does the
Yeah,
weaving give you relief that you can
yes,
put it in your artwork and
absolutely, totally. It really does. That's a really great way of saying it because uh, it's kind of like I don't know, mopping the floor or something, or digging a hole in the garden. It's like you want to do something, and what can you do? So the release and the relief of making a weaving of it is great because it is physical, and it is tiring work. And I can spend maybe 4 hours a day weaving, as I said earlier. So I think it gets that out of me, that feeling of wanting to contribute to what's going on in the world based on the stories I hear on radio every day. Yeah,
well, I'm always aware that I weave into whatever I'm weaving, what's going on around me. I
yeah,
know that later when I pull out that scarf, I usually think about either what was going on at that time or even something as simple as a movie I was watching while I was working on it. So
yeah,
that's why I was curious. I think we put into our work something of ourselves, whether it's
absolutely.
something mundane or something very emotional for us, right?
Totally. And sometimes I think about people from my past while I'm weaving as well. And I feel I'm weaving them and their stories into the work too, as I go. I don't know if you're speaking about the COVID pieces, but on one of those, people did send me like prayers for people who had died during COVID in 2020 two, three, I suppose it was 2021 maybe. And it was like a mantra almost, as I was weaving, I was saying the names of the people who had contacted me to weave their loved ones into the weaving. Yeah.
Oh, wow. How long did that take? How long did you work on that?
Well, at the beginning during COVID lockdown, I had been very busy with school and community projects. So everything closed, of course, and I was just here in the studio, just my husband and I living here in our home. Now, it was a lovely warm spring, so it was a very nice time to just be at home for me. So I started the COVID series then, and I made 4 wall hangings based on what I heard on the news. So the first one was about the health workers
Mm.
who were still continuing to work while the rest of us were in lockdown. And the second piece was about the heroes in education, the teachers who were still continuing to teach online. I had a lot of affinity with them as I was a teacher myself. And the third one was about, it was about when George Floyd was killed in America. I began to research hashtags to do with Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all these hashtags were coming out. So I included them in the weaving as well. And I stopped it then because I just couldn't keep going with it. I was going down a rabbit hole and I just thought I'd better stop this now and go on to a new theme.
You're passionate. I love that. You're
Yeah,
very passionate.
totally.
Well, I want to compare some color uses because the past images that we've seen, they're so colorful and they're so powerful. Now we're going to look at another one. This is called Disappeared, which is just as bold and powerful, but you've really backed off from the color. There's just that little bit there on the side. And I was curious, when you're working on something like this, do you find it's more difficult to use the grays, the blacks, and the whites, or does it matter for you?
No, it doesn't matter for me. This particular piece, it might be difficult now for you to understand from this image, but the metal frame that is surrounding the weaving is a solid, thick frame where I drilled holes into the top and bottom. And there are 3 separate warps on that
Oh,
frame
wow.
in 3 separate areas of the metal frame. So the warp is made from fishing line, recycled fishing line,
Hmm.
and the weft is just sewn in so that it looks transparent. And it's about people who disappear. So it could be anything. It could be through Alzheimer's, or it could be a physical disappearance. You go out someday and not come home. So I did a series of 4 of these pieces and an installation for an exhibition. And the installation was temporary. It fell apart when I took it down. Um,
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, so it was just made from fishing line again. And I wove a figure holding a child into the warp. But the way I reflected the light on it, it looked like a drawing on the wall behind the weaving. So the weaving was transparent, but it was the drawing on the wall behind the weaving that was what I was trying to get across. But your question was about color. The little red bit I sewed in at the end, don't ask me why. I still don't know why I did that. I thought it needed a little blast of something. But the black, white, and grey, I think it was just that monochrome thing of, yeah, the theme disappeared. I thought that would be the way to show what I wanted to show. So if you turn that on its side the other way, you can look through it and the people are in 3 different parts of the frame. So the frame is part of the finished work. You know what I mean? I didn't cut
Hmm.
anything off. Yeah.
That's
Um,
fascinating.
yeah,
Can I
so
steal
of
your idea?
course, off you go. You're
So you said
welcome.
when you took it down, it fell apart. Did you mean for it to fall apart, or was that just an oops?
Yeah. No, not this piece. I this is solid. I still have some
Oh,
of
okay.
that
Okay.
work
I'm sorry,
in
I
my
misunderstood.
possession. It these were on the wall. I had 4 on the wall, but I
Uh-huh.
had a huge installation piece as well in the gallery to go with that series.
Okay.
So that's what fell apart. I knew it would because it was so I had the warp threads coming down and I had weights on the bottom of them. they're called sinkers for fishing, and I called it hook, line, and sinker. So I knew there was no way it would stay together once I cut it
Oh, okay.
down, once the exhibition ended. Yeah.
Didn't that bother you? I'm just thinking about all that work and it just went away.
Yeah, it really did bother me. I did try to save it, but in the end, I just cut all the hooks off the bottom of it and dumped it, I think, because, I mean, I have a studio here. I've been working for 50 years as a weaver. I have so much stuff and I make a lot. I'm a constant weaver. I'm a constant maker, so you do have to just give up on some things, I guess, if they don't work out. I'm happy to do that. It worked for the exhibition and I got a lot of photographs, so that
Oh,
was okay.
good. Good.
Excuse me.
You're a good sport. I don't know if I could be that okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, this is displaced again, this next image we're going to look at, because this is what it looks like on the loom, and what you were talking about is that it's woven not horizontally, but vertical. It's turned. Um, I think we have that image. But what I was curious, and now I'm not much of a tapestry weaver. I'm a beginner. So is it difficult? There we go. Is it difficult to work in that direction, or is the cartoon keep you on track?
Yeah, the cartoon keeps me on track, but you can see on this loom up at the top there,
Uh-huh.
that's the drawing. So I have it enlarged, then pinned to the tapestry as I was weaving it. But
Oh,
it's still
okay.
only a drawing, as I said earlier. I didn't have a color study for this at all. Um, so weaving in that direction, I find I like that better. I prefer
Do
that
you? Really?
because a lot of vertical weaving means that you have slits that need to be sewn either at the end or so as you go. Whereas
Oh,
this way, I can avoid that, by weaving that way. Like, for example, her leg there. If I had
uh-huh.
woven that the other way, I would have a vertical slit. And I don't like that
Oh,
in the weaving. So I prefer to do it this way. So this
well,
piece is about displaced people. And it came about when the first Syrian refugees came to Ireland and they came to County Roscommon to a place called Ballahadreen. And for a few months, I was teaching the women in the centre, in the refugee centre, weaving, tapestry weaving. And I got to know some of them, even though they didn't speak English. Some of their grandsons were able to interpret a little bit for me. So I decided to make this weaving about the comparisons between the Irish people during the famine victims in Ireland during the 1840s, who
uh-huh.
went to America, Quebec, and Canada um, on coffin ships, really. So on one side, if you see it up at the top there, you can see some Aran kind of stitching and a man holding a child on the left
Hmm.
side. And on the right side, you can see a Syrian mother holding her child, which is what you can see in the weaving as well.
Oh,
So it's
okay. Okay.
long, it's 3 meters long by 1 meter high. Um, so yeah, that took about a year to weave.
Whoa. Now, where is this piece?
Well, this piece was bought. It's in a private home in Washington, D.C.
Ah.
Um, yeah, so that was really amazing for me to have a buyer like that who really loved it and came here to the studio and saw it and bought it and brought it back. And then they've sent me photographs of it since, and I've been in touch with them a lot since then. Actually, they've bought a few more pieces since then as well. So they're great buyers, and I'm very happy that they're in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need to go see it
Marvelous.
at their house.
Oh, yeah, I think I need to go and see it, but I won't go to Washington yet. I'll wait another few years and then I will go and visit them, I hope.
I'm just trying to get you over here so you'll teach and, lecture and things.
Okay. Oh, well, that'd be great.
It
Let's
would
keep that
be.
in
It
mind.
would be.
Yeah, fabulous.
This next one we're going to look at is called Red Alert. And I wanted to talk about this one. I just fell in love with it when I saw this. But to me, it's more, oh, there's the whole piece. Here
Oh
we go.
yeah. So
There's the
there's the
whole
whole
piece
piece.
that it's finished. Sorry, Mandy, I jumped the gun here. But isn't this amazing? Now talk about the red line. What is that for
Yeah.
you?
Well, the red line is the journey, the journey that people have to make across the world as refugees. They're
Uh-huh.
either coming or going from one place to the other. So you can see on the right-hand side are my Syrian refugees, very bright, and some of that henna pattern that they use on their skin, on the
Mm,
sky there, flowers and so on. The next section then looks like people disappearing into the distance, into the sky. You see the way it goes back and curves off to the right, and there's
hmm.
just little faded marks of people in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next section, there's kind of like a storm in the sky, and the color changes. And then there are people walking towards us because you see, things get very big when I start working because then I thought, well, the Rohingya refugees were on the move at the same time that I was weaving this as well. So I felt I needed to put a different group of people in before I got to the Irish side. So the
Oh,
Irish side then shows the famine victims. Strokestown Park House is here in Roscommon, just near where we live. And I did a lot of research there, visiting the house. Well, I go there regularly, but I visited the museum in particular to do some research into the Irish who left here. Now, I just realized that was woven in 2018. I have the date on it there. So the red line, yeah. So you can see the red line sometimes comes in front of people and sometimes behind people. I use some ghosting,
mm,
to do that. So there would be one or two threads of red and two or three threads of the yellow for her pants, or the man here in the blue. I have blue and red through him as well. So sometimes it's in front and sometimes it's behind. It just indicates the journey. And then the blue line going up to the sky is like the globe, the edge of the world. That we're
mm.
all just hanging on to the edge of the world, really, or walking on it.
Now, how big is this piece? We could tell by the previous that it was pretty big, but how big is this piece?
It's 3 meters by 1 meter.
Wow.
That's the piece that was bought by the couple in Washington, D.C. for their home. So it's in a private collection.
I could just look at this for days. Just every time you look at it, you see something different. So anyway, let's jump back to Red Alert. This is
Okay.
another one that, again, I said it's more abstract. I think it's more abstract than some of your other works. There may be
Yeah.
things there I don't see, but I still just the energy in it and the color dancing around each. I love this. So tell us about this. Why the change? Why? And I'm not sure when this was done. Was this early on in your career? Was this
No,
later?
no, no. This was done after Displaced.
Oh,
This was
really?
done. Yeah. I'm going to just guess that it was about 2023, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
about 3 years ago. I did two of them, Red Alert 1 and 2. Um, my original design was to do about 6, but I move on so quickly with my ideas. I find it hard to go back. I have to keep moving on for some
Hmm.
reason. So this piece, you're right when you say that everyone is different from the last one that I did. And I think that's because they take so long to make that as I'm making it, I'm thinking about the next one I'm going to make, believe it or not. So I'm already thinking in my own head, okay, I need to do something completely different the next time. This is just taking too long, or this is too colorful, or this is too plain. Whatever I'm doing, I'll be doing the opposite the next time. So Red Alert 1 is is about climate change, and it is based on a weather warning system that we have here in Ireland. Red, yellow, and orange, depending on the alert for a storm. We're getting more and more storms and more rain. At the moment in Ireland, there's flooding all over the southeast of Ireland right now. And so this one night, I was watching the weather forecast on the television, and an image similar to this came up. And I just thought, oh my God, that would make a fabulous weaving. So I just kind of went and did it. Now, this is very slow, this particular one. You can see if you're looking close up, I have a lot of different, you know, blending and movement. And I would have had about 20 different bobbins more probably all across the warp, as I was making the shapes. And there's lots of little diamond patterns in it as well, up towards the top. So the second one then, which you don't have, I don't think, in your slide collection, continues on that. It's the other half of the
Oh,
circle
yeah, I
there.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it moves on into the next one and changes a little bit. So it is totally abstract, yeah. So it's just a weather warning and it's about climate change.
Wow. Um, can I share with you what I thought?
Yeah, please.
And those of you in the South, especially around Florida and Alabama, we had a nasty red fungus that came in the ocean. And it just was horrible. You couldn't swim. It was killing everything. And when I saw red alert, I thought of that because there's that blue, and I thought that was the ocean. And so now it has
Yeah.
another meaning if you ever want to use it.
Yeah, well, that's what's great about abstract art, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody can look and interpret their own way, and I like that. That's okay. That's great.
Oh, it's just beautiful. That's pretty too, Mandy. Oops. So you studied painting, as you talked about
Yeah.
earlier. But I have to say, I think that's very bizarre. They wouldn't let painting go into weaving. Did they allow
No,
weaving to go into painting?
no, it was very strict. I'm not sure what it's like now, but weaving was in the craft section and fine art was
Oh,
in a different section.
yes, yes.
So the two didn't marry together.
No,
And I
no.
guess it's the same still, but I try to overcome that in my work. I don't care. So I'm just doing my own thing anyway. So
It's
uh,
true,
my,
by gosh.
my motto has always been I'm too arty for the craft world and too crafty for the art world. But I still think that's okay because that's just me.
That
So,
makes you you.
yeah, exactly. So
Well,
take
I
it or
loved it because I think your work looks painterly. I think
yeah.
some of the things that you've done, and like that abstract, that's so painterly. I could easily see that being a painting. So, do you try to incorporate that, or is that just an unconscious thing that you've been painter so long that it comes out in your work whether you want it to or not? Like
Yeah,
these,
I
I thought
think
these were amazing.
Yeah, I think it just comes out in the work. I don't set out to do that. The one on the right there is called Track Two. And
Uh-huh.
Track Two is from a photograph that I took a series of in Scotland in the Highlands. And it reminded me so much of the west of Ireland. Connemara is very like this. It's exactly the same, really. Um, so when I came home, I just did a series. This is number two. I have track one as well.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, no, I just loved the idea of the roadway disappearing into the distance, and there's a little lake there and a little hill, and then the sky. So the one on the left then is called Turmoil. Um, Turmoil then is a much bigger subject, I guess. It's about the graveyard in the Mediterranean Sea. It's about all of the people who die when they're trying to cross the ocean to get to other countries on the little dinghies that they're on. And
Mhm.
yeah, there's lots of splashing going on there. And I don't know if you can see
Ooh,
the figures. There's a hand and a knee and a bit of a head there. So
ooh,
that one is quite strong. It's
it
quite big
is.
as well. I think it's 2 meters by one and a half or something. I'm not
Wow.
100% sure of the exact measurement of turmoil. But yeah, the painterly thing, it just comes out, I think, as I'm working. I don't set out to do it really.
Well,
Yeah.
you've talked some about commissions that you were working on a commission, and in the bio there was talk about your commissions. And I know many of our listeners are going to want to know this. Uh, how do you go about getting commissions? Do you go and pursue them? Do they come to you both?
Yeah. No, they always come to me. Um, the first slide you showed of me in the studio up on the thing, up on the ladder, that's a commission that I just finished last year. So that is called Woven into Memory. And it's about the Irish that were killed in the Korean War. Yeah. So there are seven
Wow.
priest heads woven in there, if you can see them. So
Yeah.
that is 165 high by 110 wide. And I'll be going to Seoul in South Korea on the 10th of March to deliver it to the War Memorial Museum. And they will be having a launch of that piece then. So that came to me through a woman who's what I call him, her grand uncle or her relative is one of the priests. And she had been researching this story for a long time. And
Uh-huh.
then she had the idea that she'd like it woven into a tapestry to tell the story because it's
Oh,
not a story that was well known seemingly around the world. I certainly didn't know it. So I had to do a lot of research for this piece. So that one came to me and we worked together. She explained her ideas. Then I did the research, I did the drawing, I did a painting, and then I wove it. And now, as I said, it's going to be hung in the War Memorial Museum in Seoul. So, in general, people do come to me with an idea and we thrash it out. It's a collaborative thing, you know, we over and back and think and talk and figure out what the best size and design will be together. And I have a new commission starting soon. I did a presentation at NUIG in Galway, the university there, about a piece I made some years ago using all plant dyed materials. And a lady approached me afterwards who had inherited a lot of plant dyed yarns. And now I'm going to make a weaving for her house using those yarns. So that's a very nice commission. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, you
oh,
just never know, you know, because my work is out there so much and I exhibit a lot, people find me, I think. That seems to be how it goes anyway.
well, that may answer my next question because, I've talked to artists and some artists are like, I'm never doing another commission in my life. It was horrible. There was nothing but fighting. And other people go, I love commissions, but it sounds like you are able to have a working relationship with someone. But is there ever that kind of struggle back and forth of what you think you should be doing and what the owner to be wants you to do? Or,
Well, I haven't come across that yet at
okay,
all.
good for you.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I'd have to be clear in the beginning that it is my interpretation, even of the design, you know, because I have weaving it, it's not going to look like a painting, it's going to look like a weaving, you know, and people have to, when they commission me, they have to trust. There's a lot of trust involved, I think. They have to trust that I can do it and carry it out. And yeah, I think friendships are formed, and yeah, I enjoy it very much. I really do. And
So you've been talking, oh, go ahead, I'm
it's a
sorry.
great way to get paid because there's very little money in this, as we know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you talked about you're working on this commission and it's going to Korea soon. But what else is new? What else is what's next for you?
Yeah, I have a very busy few weeks coming up now. I spent today packing up the car with an exhibition that's going to Belfast in the north of Ireland, opening on Thursday. I'll be hanging it tomorrow. Uh, so that's called Threading Land, that exhibition. That exhibition then will stay for a month in Belfast and then open in Sligo, which is another county in Ireland. Then I go to Korea in March. And then the 3 months of the summer, June, July, and August, I'm exhibiting with a group called Contemporary Tapestry Artists Ireland. And that will be in a place called Newgrange, Brunaboyna. So it's in County Meath. You know, you may have heard of Newgrange. It's where the sun rises on the 21st of December in through a little roof box and lights up the chamber at the back of the the mound of the mound. So that will be I'm making a piece for that as well at the moment. So yeah, I'm very busy.
You sound busy.
That's just the next few months. I won't go on. I have a few more ideas after that, but I won't share them yet. So yeah, always busy.
Well, we've got lots of questions. I'm going to try to get to them as many as I can. I think some got answered, but let's see how many we can get. Um, oh, somebody wants to know how can they access the Names Project? And I think that was the project you were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about at the beginning, right?
Yeah. Now
Okay.
yeah, you can go online and look for Stitch Their Names Together is the name of the project.
Okay.
Stitch Their Names Together. So you can go onto their website. Now they do have a waiting list of stitchers, people
Wow.
who are lined up ready to take on the project. It's all voluntary. So the people who are organizing it are volunteers as well. So you may not get an answer for a few days, but it's well worth looking it up and checking it out. They have an Instagram page as well called Stitch Their Names Together.
Okay, Sammy, that was Sammy McGlasson. Sammy, I hope that's who you were referring to, but I'm pretty sure it was. If not, come back in and come up with another question. This is from Kathy Wheeler. Hi, Frances. So happy to hear your
Hi.
voice. Please tell
I
us
know,
about your
Kathy.
upcoming show. I think she just did. Is that what she's referring to?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Yep.
Kathy.
Thanks,
Um,
Kathy.
oh, I came in late. Did you speak about the kind of loom that was the Syrian woman was woven on? How do the petals work?
Mm. It's a dryad loom,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, just two shafts, two pedals, up and down, over and back. So just open warp, closed warp, very simple loom.
Oh, okay.
It is tapestry loom. Yeah.
Catherine Johnson wants to know for the large pieces, considering the weight, what is your preferred fiber for the warp?
It's always cotton. I always use a cotton warp.
Okay.
They're just up here behind me. I have them in different weights. um, yeah, I don't know. I've always used it, and that's what I prefer to use always.
There you
They're
go.
nice, and it's like it's soft. You can push down the weft very nicely into it,
I
and
know someone's going to ask, so I'm going to go ahead and ask. Is it mercerized or unmercerized?
no, it's unmercerized.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, we answered that question.
very good.
Okay, when you say a tapestry takes a year to weave, does that include the design process? That's
Yes.
from Anne Sanderoff Walker.
Well, and that one did because of the size of it, 3 meters by 1 meter, and the warp was very close together. It was 10 ends per inch, and the weft was very fine threads. So that one did take almost a year to weave, and it does include the design process. Yes.
Wow. A year. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine
Well,
a
the
year.
woven into memory one, I started that I met the lady the client in December 2024, and I started weaving in January 2025, and I finished it in June 2025. That
Wow.
was 6 months and a month beforehand of conversation and research.
Wow. Um, Kristen Hawthorne wants to know, I find your work very moving and inspirational. I do too, Kristen. Do you currently teach classes or workshops?
Um, Currently, no. I do have one or two private students who come for tutorials every now and again here to my studio. I used to teach a lot, but now I find that my energy all goes into the work and I need it for that. So I am happy to teach someone if they came here for an hour or two once a month or something, but not so much anymore, no.
Sorry, Kristen. I was hoping she'd come over here and teach. All right, Chris. Oh, that's from Christine. Christine, we answered that. I hope that was. Oh, you wanted to know. Oh, Christine wants to know what you use in the weft.
What I use in the weft?
Is it
Wool.
wool or cotton or
Wool. Oh
wool?
no,
Okay.
wool, yeah. Wool, all the time. But this new exhibition I have opening on Thursday called Threading Land, I've used everything and anything I could put my hands on in that because it's very thick bundles I was using. So I was using, bits of rope, bits of thread, bits of twine. I put some acrylic in there as well just to get the bulk. I
Oh, the
wanted
bulk.
these
Okay.
thick, bulky, textured pieces. So normally it's very fine wool, and I use several to get the tone and shade that I want. But sometimes I can use anything.
Well, behind you are all those lovely cones of colored yarn.
Mm.
So, do you do your own dyeing or do you buy it dyed?
No, I buy. I used to do everything, like spinning, dyeing, all the processes, but I found that I had to just concentrate on one thing. I just didn't have the time to do everything anymore. So I decided to just buy the yarn and just concentrate on the tapestry weaving.
Sue Bassett wants to know, are all your pieces larger? Do you ever do
Um,
smaller things or?
I do some small and I have some small framed works, but I like to work large. I prefer that kind of, as I mentioned earlier, the physicality of it. I like the climbing up on the ladder and sitting up on a beam up at the top of the roof and all of that stuff. So I like that.
You no wonder you have the Michelangelo Award. Um, do you have to do something to protect your body? Do you do exercises or see a therapist or
No, but I should. I do Pilates once a week and I
there you
walk
go.
every day. But I did pull my back out a few months ago and it gave me an awful fright. I realized I needed to take care of myself a bit more. So now I am a bit more careful about stopping every hour or two to stretch and move and maybe walk. I used to
Mm.
go for one big long walk in the day. Now I go for two short walks and I move around a bit more. So that's my advice to anybody weaving. Take your breaks and move around a bit. But I'm very strong bodily wise, thankfully, and hopefully that will continue.
All right. I'm going to pronounce this wrong and I apologize. Is it Riona? Riona?
Rihanna.
Rihanna
Yeah.
McGinnis.
Yeah.
I always find your work fascinating and feel blessed to live and work so close to you.
Oh,
So
thanks, Rena.
kudos to you.
She's my friend.
Okay, this one I can't wait for you to answer. This is from Deborah Davis. The first slide shows that you are sitting up on two ladders. Is that what you sit on when you weave large tapestries on a vertical loom?
Yes. Yep.
Oh my
So I
gosh, do you have like a net under you in case you fall?
start, no,
You
so I
should.
start I start first of all, I start sitting on the ground. Then I sit on a chair, then I sit on my table. Then I bring in the ladders and start moving up, to the top
Yeah.
section. So yeah, so I sit up there to finish off that one.
All right. From
And
now on, you're going to
climb
wear a
up.
belt connected so you can't fall.
Yeah,
What do you
it's
do with
just
your yarn when you're up that high? Do you have like a basket that,
yeah, I do. I bring everything up with me, and I'd
okay.
have a basket there beside me on that plank of wood.
Well,
Yeah, so I'd be up and down a bit. So you see the little ladder beside the big ones? I
yeah.
just climb up on the little ladder and step
Okay.
onto one beam and sit on the other one.
All right.
And yeah,
You're
it's a
worrying
kind of
mother here.
homemade job, like everything I
Oh,
do.
great question, Deborah. This is from Jean Vogel. Hi, Frances. I'm
Hi,
amazed at the
Jean.
height of your frame loom.
Yeah,
So I think we've answered all of that. How are you managing that these days? It sounds like you're managing fine and taking good care of yourself.
yeah. Thanks,
Um,
Jean.
oh, this is from Michelle King, and she said, I was very lucky to attend one of Frances's workshop and really enjoyed it and learned lots.
Oh,
So maybe you
thanks,
should be going
Michelle.
back to that, Frances.
Yeah, maybe that will
Maybe.
be good. Thanks,
This is
Michelle.
from Karen LeBlanc. I love hearing artists talk about their pieces, and I love your work. can you talk about how you describe your pieces for exhibit and for proposals of exhibitions, i.e.,
Mhm.
your artist statement for different pieces?
Yeah, no, that's very tricky. I find that very hard because galleries expect an artist statement in art speak, which I don't really do. So the only thing I can do is say it from the heart, to just describe what the exhibition will be about or what I'm proposing the exhibition will be about. And like for the Threading Land one, I just said there will be 7 hand woven tapestries based on the land around where I live, what I see and feel every day on my walk. I will be using textures and sumac and name some of the weaves that I'm using in it. I just try to make it as simple as I can because
Hmm.
I've read some artist statements and I really can't even understand them myself. So I don't know what they're about.
I swear they teach that in college.
I think
Like,
so. I
I
must
don't
have
know what any of that meant, but it sounded
I
good.
I must have missed that class.
Oh my gosh, this has been so exciting to see your work. Thank you. I know you're so
Thank you.
busy, and I appreciate you taking time to be on the show today, Francis. This was
Thank you. I
wonderful.
really
Thank you
enjoyed it.
so
Thank you
much.
very much.
We
Thanks
are so
very much,
excited to
Kathy.
have you here. I hope we'll see your exhibits. Can you see them online? Will they be posting things
Yeah,
online?
yeah. Well, on my website, I do
There you
have
go.
an exhibitions page, and if you drop down, the new one is on there with a link to the 7 pieces that I'll be showing.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah,
So go to our
yeah.
website. It's very easy to remember, Frances Crowe right here.com. And you can see more about our work and you can see the exhibit that's coming up. And I just think we all need to go to Ireland and see it in person.
You're
So
welcome.
there you go.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. We want
Bye
to
bye.
thank our sponsor today. And I'm hoping that Carolina Fiber Fest, I hope you enjoyed today. What a wonderful artist that we had for you today. I encourage you all to check out this conference. It's March, and what better place to be than North Carolina in March? Spring is starting about that time of year. If you're looking for a road trip, this is the place that you want to go. Um, they will be having a variety of workshops. I looked at them. There's everything: weaving, knitting, crocheting, spinning. So there's something for everybody. There will be vendors. They got a bunch. I think there's over 70 vendors, everything from, raw fiber to yarn and things. Because, you never have enough yarn, right? And the thing that I loved, I've never seen this done before, which doesn't mean it's nothing new, anything new, but I've never seen it. They're doing a craft along, and it's a great idea. It's posted on the website, a pattern, and you could either do the ones I saw were weaving, crochet, or knitting. It's a free pattern. So if you want, you make it. There was a lovely scarf, a 4 chef scarf I was looking at. Then when you go to the conference, excuse me, when you go to the conference, you show it to them that you made it, and you get this really cute pin that looks just like their logo that said you did the craft along. Now, isn't that a clever idea? And that is so much fun. So I'm sorry, hang on. So if you are thinking about going, go check that out before you go. And then let's do a road trip. Let's go to Raleigh, North Carolina in March and buy more yarn and show off everything that we made. So go check them out. It's Carolina Fiber Fest. They've got me choked up. It's a great little conference, and I hope you'll check it out. I am so sorry. Oh, I'm going to get excited about this too. Travel and workshop. I love this mainly because this is how I ended up going to Italy is I saw the live event, and when I saw all the pictures and I heard this woman talk about the trip, I had to go, and it was wonderful. So we have in our magazine the travel and workshop section. We show you all their ads, but we have a virtual event that's going to be February the 19th, where the people who are doing these tours and workshops and classes and conferences will talk about their event. And they usually show all these great images, and it's more information that you can get than out of an ad. It's wonderful. So go check those out. If you're still thinking, where do I want to go this year? This is a great use of your time. Go check that out. There's a link over in the chat that you can click on, or you can also find it on our website, weavespindie.org. But if you're thinking about going somewhere and you're not sure where you want to go check that out. It's first in the magazine at Travel and Workshop, and then in February the 19th, Travel and Workshop Live. I encourage you to go check that out. We want to thank everybody for being a member or donating to Handweavers Guild of America. Your donations help these events happen so that we get to meet people like Frances. Or if you do the Guild retreat, which was amazing, I learned tons. And then whether it's Spinning and Weaving Week or all the other events that you help promote by joining or donating. You can do so at weavespindie.org, and we encourage you to continue your support of HGA. Next week, we have Teresa Jorgalis. I think I'm saying her name right. I apologize if I'm not. She is from Syria. We have everybody. We're so international. So be sure you check that out, and we will see you all next week. Thank you so much, and happy tea.